You hear it all the time, right? Bitcoin, the next big crypto. It's so easy to get sucked in and think that's the whole game. But what if that's just a tiny little piece of a much, much bigger world of money? A world that plays by a completely different set of rules. Rules that, well, most of us were just never taught. So let's explore those.
All right, before we dive in, we got to get the serious stuff out of the way. Just a quick heads up that this is all for informational purposes. It's not financial advice. Think of it as an exploration of a very specific way of looking at wealth.
So let's just kick things off with this one idea. It's a bit of a challenge, right? It kind of suggests that if we're all hyper-focused on the daily price of, well, any asset, we might be missing the entire forest for the trees.
This is such a wild metaphor, but it really makes you think. The argument here is that the global financial system is so unbelievably massive, this huge ocean, that even making incredible gains in one small corner is, well, it's just a drop. The real game isn't about picking the winning drop, it's about understanding the entire ocean.
Okay, I bet this looks pretty familiar to most of you. It's the financial script we're all handed from day one, isn't it? Go to school, land a good job, save your money, pay your taxes, buy a house, and of course, get out of debt. It's sold to us as the safe, responsible path to success.
But here's the kicker. What if that conventional wisdom, that whole safe path, isn't actually designed for you to come out on top? What if it's a game where the rules are set up to favor a totally different kind of player? Okay, so to get a handle on this, we need a name for the system. One framework gives it a pretty intense one, GRUNCH. It stands for Gross Universal Cash Heist. And it's basically a term for this huge, interconnected web of institutions, we're talking governments, big banks, the whole shebang, that are quietly directing where all the money flows on a global scale.
So who's actually running the show here? Well, you've got three main players. At the very top, central banks literally create money out of debt. Then, government treasuries spend that new money into the economy. And who's there to manage it all and take a cut? Wall Street. These three work together like a well-oiled machine.
Okay, so if that's the game board and those are the main players, the million-dollar question is, what are you supposed to do? How do you navigate all this? How do you actually learn to play the game instead of just being a pawn on the board?
And that brings us to this really core idea, the cash flow quadrant. It's like a map that divides the whole financial world into four types of people. On the left side, you've got E for employee, you have a job, and S for self-employed or small business, you own a job. Then on the right side, you've got B for big business, you own a system. And I for investor, your money works for you. And this is where it gets really interesting, because the difference between the left side and the right side isn't just about money, it's all about mindset. The left side is focused on security, on getting that steady paycheck. The right side, it's all about freedom, about building assets that make money even when you're not working. It's the huge shift from working for money to having money work for you. And check this out. This is probably one of the biggest, most tangible differences. Taxes. You see, the tax code is often written to benefit the people on the right side. An employee might pay 40% in taxes. Someone who's self-employed could pay up to 60%. But a smart investor, they can use the rules, totally legally, to pay way less, sometimes even nothing. So how is that even possible? Well, it all boils down to two super simple but honestly game-changing definitions. First up, an asset. Forget what you learned in school. An asset is simply anything that puts money into your pocket. Period. That's it.
And you guessed it, a liability is the exact opposite. It's anything that takes money out of your pocket. It's not about what you own, it's all about which way the cash is flowing. All right, so with those definitions locked in, let's ask a question that messes with a lot of people's heads. If a liability takes money out of your pocket every month for the mortgage, for taxes, for repairs, is the house you live in really an asset? Well, according to this framework, unless it's a rental property putting cash in your pocket, the answer is a hard no. It's a liability.
This is where the playbook just gets completely flipped on its head. See, people on the right side of that quadrant, they don't run from debt. Nope, they use it. Here's how it works. You borrow money to buy an asset that produces cash flow, like an apartment building. The rent from the tenants pays the mortgage and all the other bills. Then, tax laws like depreciation let you keep a lot of that income tax-free. And what do you do with that leftover cash? You use it to buy more assets.
So if you want to build a real B quadrant business, a system, there's a framework for that too. It's called the BI triangle, and it's made up of 8 key parts. You start with a solid foundation of cash flow, legal, and systems. In the middle, you've got your product, your team, and your leadership. And what holds it all together and drives it forward? Your mission and your communications.
And not one piece at the top, communications? You can't just skip over that. I mean, this quote really says it all. The ability to communicate, to sell an idea or a product, is directly linked to your cash flow. You can be the smartest person in the room, but if you can't communicate your value, you're going to struggle. And that, right there, brings us to the real heart of all this. It's not actually about whether you invest in crypto or real estate or stocks. That's not the point. The point is about a fundamental shift in who you are. The goal isn't to find the perfect investment, it's to become the kind of person who operates on the right side of that quadrant.
So, where does a journey like that even start? It's a huge idea, right? Well, it starts with the number one thing on that BI triangle. The very first pillar, your mission. And this isn't just about, I want to be rich. A mission is way deeper than that. So what's yours? Is it having the freedom to spend time with your family? Is it about funding a cause that you're passionate about? Solving a real problem in the world? Getting crystal clear on that mission, that's the fuel for everything else.
And that leaves us with one last question, and it's a really important one. I want you to think about this. In your financial life, are you playing to win? Actively trying to build assets, create systems, and achieve freedom? Or are you just playing not to lose, focusing on that job security and just trying not to mess up? Your answer to that question really changes everything.